Yo, yo, yo. So today is Christmas Eve. I was going to do this podcast on Christmas Eve, but which would have been yesterday. But it was had some stuff to do. It was a lot. It was really cold yesterday, and I just didn't feel like doing anything. I've actually managed to avoid getting sick. Barely though, barely. I got off work and the driveway was covered in snow, and I just attempted pretty much to just back my car in the garage anyway. But my car ended up getting stuck. I had to do the back and forth thing, and eventually I ended up having to actually get out and shovel a little bit around the tires to get my car in. So yeah, shovel your snow. But at this point, it's too cold to get out there. If you ain't get it done by now, then it probably won't get done. It's just really chilly out there. This is my little Christmas ornament. I'm just gonna hang that up there. Or actually, we'll hang this right off. Yeah, this little hourglass piece there. There we go. So I got a couple topics. It's holidays coming up, so everybody wants to do different things. I would say just do what makes you happy. Whether it be family or friends, or if you just want to sit in isolation, maybe do like a puzzle or play your games or whatever. Or if you want to take a little road trip, those have been like my like my little three things that I've pondered of what I want to do. Sometimes it just helps to just get away and relax or something like that. But make sure you keep gas in your car, because the gas station pumps have been very hectic lately. A lot of times you get there and it's a lot of out of order signs, and the gas always pumps slow. And around this time, you definitely want some gas in your car. A trip that usually might take you 10 minutes to do might take you 25, because the road's just so icy. This is for us Illinois folk. Everybody else that's probably below the border or whatever, I'm sure you guys are still getting nice weather to where you don't have to take that much into consideration for that type of stuff. But yeah, for everywhere else, definitely stay warm. 2 hoodies is not going to cover it. Also, self-care. I try to do this, but make sure you're drinking plenty of liquids or fluids. Yesterday when I was outside, I was just breathing a lot of cold air, and I started getting a little stuffy nose. So I started drinking some tea immediately. Hot tea to kind of keep the body warm and everything, and that'll warm you up, and that should help. But yeah, even though it's cold, you still want to make sure you drink your water or your tea or whatever you got. Make sure whatever liquid you got to keep your body going, because your body's gonna need juice to keep the tubes loose. Yeah, there we go. There was like I actually got a notification. Apparently they're cutting catalytic converters again, so be on the lookout for that, I guess. I guess there was one shop where they were like, it was weird. They had like a whole bunch of like catalytic converters just stockpiled, and I don't know what they do with them. I know they sell them or scrap them or whatever, but I don't know. I always looked at places that fix catalytic converters kind of weird. Like, I don't know, y'all out here stealing them, and then people turn them into you, and then you put it back on the car. I don't know, maybe not so. I mean, most of these shops, they probably do a lot more than just that. So, but yeah, I guess they found one garage or something. It was like hundreds of them. So he was probably gonna cash in. But they caught him, so that's good. They caught him. His Christmas is definitely ruined. So a serious topic. I guess it dips into more relationships or people, how we interact with each other. And since it is like the spirit of Christmas, I guess we can go into like people come in packages. A lot of times we may want to like customize each person to our liking. Like, I want this person, this. But a lot of times, like, the similar traits of that person might be in things that we do like and might be in things that we don't like. So, for example, like, let's say you like somebody who is a little bit aggressive. They're more of a go-getter. They're always busy, trying to take care of themselves and those around them. you might like that, but the trade-off of that is you might not like that they're always busy, or that they don't take that time to simply relax, or or just be a little lazy for a little bit. So I mean, little stuff like that. If you want somebody like that has that cutthroat mindset, they're gonna also look at you and expect you to rise up to a certain standard, because they're going to have that cutthroat mindset. This can exist in different ways, like if somebody's like extrovert or introverted. Now I do believe that there's a good healthy balance where you can kind of operate in the middle of it, where you don't have to be so extroverted at times, but you also don't have to be introverted at times too. And this is just find middle ground. But you might like somebody because they're extroverted, because they have a huge personality, outgoing, but then you also might not like that they bring a lot of attention to whatever situation you guys got going on. If you're introverted, you might like that, okay, the person's laid back and chill, but sometimes they could be too laid back and chill. So it's always an adjustment. But understanding that people come in packages, and that can also spill over to like their work or how they do. If somebody's like a manager or something, they might be really bossy, really structured. And if you're talking to somebody in that type of position, they might be bossy or want a lot of structure in their own home. I couldn't be a manager. I could be a manager, but a lot of work. It's a lot of managing to do. I can manage myself. I'd rather manage myself or stuff around me. Managing other people, that takes. Shout outs to those that do that, because that does take a lot of work. So yeah, I mean, just people just come in packages. You can't change everything about everyone. And sometimes it's kind of just impossible, especially when you get a certain age. People are always just kind of stuck in their ways or how they do things, or so that's just pretty much that. I did want to go back. These roads are definitely slippery. I would say definitely be careful, because it has been a lot of accidents on the road. I was going to do maybe a little Uber here and there, but I was like, nah, somebody's going to slide it and hit my car, and then there go my holidays. I'm about to be busy doing that and fixing up on that or whatever. Also on my timeline, so I've been seeing a lot about this Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion case. I guess Tory was found guilty. So as of my little 2 cents about this, as of now, we're kind of like in this space where majority women are just clapping, that somebody is going to jail for the incident. Now, was justice served? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. But from what I skimmed, now I skimmed this, so I could be wrong. But from what I skimmed, pretty much there was some sort of altercation, arguing, and in the end, Megan did get shot in the foot, both feet, I believe. So that's the accusation. But then later we find out that, there was a lie that somebody else actually shot her in the feet. But I guess Tory, somehow there's gunpowder on his hands, or I don't know. But maybe he's trying to wrestle the gun away. I don't know. But it don't look too good for him, but it didn't look bad either. It looked like somebody else came forward as a witness, pretty much saying that this is what they kind of saw, and stuff didn't make sense. But anyway, the court ended up saying, whatever, just leave that person, we just gonna put the man in jail. And it is kind of upsetting that, we see like, a man put in jail after a case that seemed kind of sketchy, but he just gets all those years that he has to eat that. And it seems like our women are celebrating that. And that's wrong. I understand why they're doing it, though, because, we rewind back time when Megan had got shot. It was a lot of men that were kind of dismissing it or making jokes or, oh, she got shot in both feet. Well, where's the hospital photos, or where is this? So I don't believe her. And then when she actually did post it, they were like, oh, well. Then they started saying, oh, well, she's big anyway. She's probably beating on him, blah, blah, blah. Which I think she's what, 5'10" or not. But anyway, and we all know this. Like, every altercation does, you shouldn't shoot nobody in the foot over a verbal altercation. Or if it's like a domestic kind of issue, like if it's like a couple, which we did find out that they were somewhat of a couple. If it comes to something like that, then no, you shouldn't have no guns should be brought out. Like we can mostly agree with that, but I think nowadays people just get so caught in this gender war where it's like always man versus woman, women versus man, or we got to find who's wrong or who's at fault all the time. And the women, they're going to stick on one side with women, just, whether they're right or wrong. And men, we're going to stick with the man on our side, whether we're right or wrong. And it really just gets us nowhere. And a lot of shenanigans just get thrown back and forth. Because if we just take gender out of it, both men and women can agree that, an argument, a drunk night out at the club should not end with a shooting. I'm pretty sure most people can agree to that. And there shouldn't be a gun nearby. Well, actually, no, there should always be a gun nearby, because you never know what can happen. But a gun shouldn't be brought out in an argument unless it got to the point where there was an actual fear for the life. And between Tory and the other girl, I don't think that there was a huge life threat to where it would make the average person feel comfortable with, all right, now I have to bring a gun into this because I fear for my life. But everybody has different fears or whatever. But I would say most men and women can agree to that. But instead of us actually agreeing to that fact, we just go right to man versus woman, and it's like, all right, now that, because I really didn't like seeing that either. A lot of men just kind of pretty much joking or clowning that she got shot, or she may have got, seriously injured, and people just kind of laughing it off or whatever. And most people, men and women, we can also agree, like, let's say if that was your family member, loved one, and they got shot, you would definitely be wanting somebody to do some jail time behind it, especially after all the jokes and memes and whatnot behind the situation. It is unfortunate. But also on the flip side, now we're here months later, we see, that she's lying in court about stuff, which is perjury. That's kind of shiesty. That's bad work. But even after like all the sketchiness of evidence, it just comes down to, all right, throw the black man in jail. And that's kind of upsetting as well. Like, as a man, you could just get lied on, and then you're just on the hook for jail. Now, he might have been, if he got gunpowder on his hands, that's as good as guilty right there. But they're finding out that somebody else actually shot her. So when you find stuff like that, then there needs to, maybe both of them should share some jail time. It just seems kind of, and I'm not sure, because I think they said he got 22 years. 22 years for, now I don't know much about sentencing times or whatever. I don't know if that's excessive or not. I'm pretty sure it is, because they always give black men higher crime sentences as opposed to anyone else. So that's that, I would say. But yeah, so I don't know. It's just kind of weird that we're in that space now. And we could all agree that, if you take men and women out of it, we can all agree that a person accused of something, if the court finds some sketchiness, we could all agree that, like, hey, you know what? This might not be great to just call this person guilty. We don't want people to be not guilty, but then get found guilty. But I don't know. It's a whole weird situation because, I mean, the evidence is kind of all over the place. Definitely some lies. They had a witness saying that, you know, pretty much cleared them, but that just kind of sucks anyway. So hopefully, in best case scenario, they appeal it. And if they can, I don't know what, but best case scenario that we could hope for is that justice actually gets served. So the right person that did the wrong person that did the crime should be the right one that we put in jail. And if it is Tory, if it finds out it is. But if they find that it's not, then it's not. But from what the evidence sound like, it sounds like he's just kind of taking the fall for it. And it is disheartening to see a lot of women just kind of celebrating this, but like it's like we're back at this man versus women thing, and I don't know where it started, but we all can recognize it's like a cycle. Everybody's got a story about how they were hurt before by a man or woman, or they grew up seeing some sort of hurt from one gender to the other. So then a lot of times people kind of perceive that the other gender's out to get them, and then so they act in a way like, all right, I'm gonna get you before you get me, and people just are really charged all the time. You know, they have like a lot of times, like, you know, as we were getting like these news stuff, we didn't even get like full details before people would just jump out the window, pick their side, and just start arguing for it, just based off the strength. Like, all right, I'm a man, so whatever, he's got to be right, you know. And we got to start. We got to start. We got to start like, and this is what we talk about, like accountability. Like if somebody's wrong, well, we got to be able to say, hey, that ain't right, you know, or just not be so quick to just jump on a bandwagon and get ready to wave a flag if we don't know exactly what's all going on. And that's why usually a lot of times when it's court stuff, I'll usually just stay out of it and more so just wait till I read everything first, at least for myself. But then sometimes, now if it's clear cut video, like, then I'm not one of those people that, all right, I'm gonna wait for all the facts, because I dislike those people too. Like you'll see something clear, like even a lot of this times happens like in those police brutality situations where, you know, you can clearly see an officer just beating up on somebody, they're in handcuffs, going way overboard, and then people will look at that and be like, you know what, I'm gonna wait for all the facts before I, you know, do everything. If it's a situation like that, then I think you're just being disingenuous. But in the case of how I was receiving information, it was more so just like, I was seeing mostly memes and just bits and pieces, articles here. So that's why I was saying, all right, I'm just going to wait to see how this court plays out, because he's saying this, she's saying this, they're also saying this. First there was video, then there wasn't a video. So I don't know what's going on with that. But I hope, you know, I think if we do take approaches like that, then it keeps us from having to go back and retract statements, or because nobody wants to be wrong. I'm realizing that nobody wants to be wrong, and some people, they would double down rather than admitting it. So like you got, and I guess if people didn't jump out to pick a side at the very beginning, if people just kind of hung back and just kind of see all the evidence or how everything plays out for yourself, then you wouldn't be forced to either have to switch your side or double down and be wrong. Because I've seen that too, where people will literally just continue being wrong, but it's too late, they already signed up for it, and so that, you know, they just got to ride that out, I guess, till the next situation comes up, which sure, I mean, hopefully you'll do better in the future, but that's not always the case with everything. Yeah. So, there was another topic that I seen, and I seen it going around a lot. So it was a woman in her car, pretty much saying, by the way, she had her seatbelt behind her back, so wrong off rip. But anyway, she was pretty much saying like, her complaint was that, you know, her definition of pretty women, the women that do the most, that put hair, makeup, nails, all that they don't get, or it's hard for them to find a good man. And she pretty much said like she sees a lot of men with like plain Jane type women, and you can, and now I understand what she's saying, but she's still wrong. And it just goes to like entitlement. Just because you believe that you put in more effort than somebody, or that you work at something, or because you believe you're a step up over somebody, does not mean that you're entitled to what they are entitled to. And so that's pretty much what it is. It's an entitlement issue. And also it's other factors outside of beauty that men do look for. Yeah, initially visual creatures, but there's like a whole bunch of stuff that I found that was wrong in what she was saying. Now we're moving into more of like a natural movement where men are appreciate natural features. So all the hair, makeup, nails, we might not, it's kind of like we see that all the time. It's kind of getting played out. More men are starting to vocally and loudly proclaim like, hey, we like natural is good. And also I made a point on a post about it earlier, like we like natural beauty and personality, but if your personality is solely based on your looks or how you think you look better than other people, then your personality might be kind of dry, and that will also deter any good man from wanting to interact with you in that case or whatever. So there's that. And also, what might be plain Jane to you might be somebody else's 10. It's just everybody is different attraction levels, where everybody's attracted to different things. So yeah, I don't know. You don't want to down talk on people and then complain like why you don't have what they have. Maybe just expand your circle, or expand what it is about you that you could offer people that would make people want to be around you and whatnot. So, and then also when people do get in relationships, they might, you might have a lazy day. All right, we're gonna go to the store, put on the sweatpants and just go. So you might have your dolled up days. You might have your plain Jane days. So like she could probably find a good man in the future, and then they can go do a store run, and somebody else could look at her and say, oh man, that's a plain Jane. How come? But it just depends. It just depends. But yeah, my personal opinion, the hair, makeup, weave, like you're just doing too much. And also we do understand like that takes a lot of time and money, and if some men don't want to invest time and money and waiting around for you to do all your hair and stuff, or give you money for your hair and stuff, when we could use that time and money for something else. Like, we could be at our reservation spot a little, like maybe 20-30 minutes earlier, and maybe do like a walk around or something, or y'all women take forever to get ready sometimes. Y'all know that. So we can just cut out all the fake hair, and then some of that, it's like, it just depends. Everybody's different, but it just because you are or you call yourself a pretty girl, just because you do that does not mean that other people might think that you're pretty, or it doesn't mean that I guess the main issue is when you try to talk down on one group of people while you're complaining where you are. It's like, nobody wants to hear or see that, because you don't have to call them plain Janes or insult them because you feel like you deserve what they have, because you feel that you're prettier. And that type of mindset is very ugly enough in itself, and that would deter a lot of people just off that mindset alone. Because looks come and go. Looks aren't forever, but people have much more to offer than just the surface level looks. And if you let that be known about yourself, then you can maybe get some of the outcomes you want. And sometimes you just have to adjust how you approach things or adjust your mindset, you know, like instead of wondering like why guys go for the plain Jane women, maybe try to figure out what is it about these plain Jane women that are attracting the men that you want. And then, you know, maybe get together with some friends and, you know, or get together with some plain Janes and figure out, you know, what they're doing, because everything's like a balance, I would say. You know. So yeah, that's I think that's all I got for today. I actually have another topic, but I might save that for like a little back and forth, because I do want a woman's, or actually I've been saying this a lot, we do want a woman's perspective on things, or a man's perspective, but I'll do a little snippet of it, but we'll definitely save that for later. But it's the idea of are men intimidated by women that have their own stuff. A lot of women claim yes. I'm gonna keep this short and say no. For the most part, they're not. And there's reasons why that is a belief, but we'll break that down maybe later at a later time. But so anyway, I'll keep this nice and short. It's only 26 minutes. Okay, so yeah, this is podcast episode 3. We are still we're still small scale now. Maybe one day we'll have a big old office and chair or something. But I actually like these better, just to sit back. I'll still do the car stuff like I want to do. But yeah, it's just a matter of just, you know, getting everything together, I would say. I went to the movies and I seen The Menu. That was actually a good, interesting film. Very interesting. I would definitely recommend checking that out. It's like a chef's type. It's like a chef movie, but it's got like a psychological thriller. Pretty much people are sitting down eating dinner at this fancy remote island, but it also comes off as like it's more than what it seems. Definitely some sinister stuff going on, but they don't realize it until it's kind of too late. But it's very interesting, like the characters they pick. It's kind of like how it does play on a lot on privilege, or how people view like prestige and how they respond to it. You know, you got some people that are like, you know, they'll worship the people that believe they're in this higher class. Then you got people that would challenge it or think they're better. Then you have people that are entitled. It's like a lot of that dope stuff, I would say. So yeah, that's it for this podcast, episode 3. We might do another mini podcast for the New Year's, or maybe I'll do a New Year's and add it on to this. But the New Year's, in case I don't get to it, the New Year's podcast, then that'll just be more so like going over your goals for the next year. And I know we hate when people say new year, new me, but it should always be a new year, new you. You should always be striving to improve, at least better than you did last year. I would even go as far as to say, you know, make every month a better you. Just some, you know, any little thing you could do. Always be looking forward for growth in some way. So that's it. Stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe. You can also email me at vicemail90. Yeah, I think vicemail90@gmail.com. Email me some topics. Actually, I gotta look at my email to see if I have any topics. So yeah, I didn't get any notifications, but yeah, we'll start going through the emails. We'll start answering some questions. Maybe we might do an anonymous thing. Maybe we'll figure. I don't know. I got ideas. We're working with it. We're working though. Stay healthy.